The wind outside howled like a wild creature, tearing through the icy plains of Xiron 7. Inside the small research station, Eli sat hunched over his workstation, the soft hum of machines and the occasional crackle of the heater the only sounds in the lonely room. Nights on Xiron 7 were long and bitter, stretching on forever, and the human crew had learned to endure the cold with routine and stubbornness. Eli was no exception. He kept himself busy repairing systems, monitoring environmental sensors, and watching the sky through the thick, frost-covered window. The stars above seemed almost alive, glittering with secrets from a galaxy he had only begun to explore. He had just finished calibrating a temperature sensor when a sudden, blinding light erupted outside. The station's walls shivered with the impact of a massive crash. Alarms screamed through the module, and Eli's heart jumped into his throat. He dashed to the observation deck and pressed his forehead against the glass. In the distance, a glowing craft lay half buried in the snow, smoke curling from it in eerie silver plumes. Instinct took over. Eli grabbed the emergency kit, a thermal blanket and his communicator. He activated the external sensors and made sure his heat suit was operational. The storm was vicious, and the chances of survival outside were slim, but he knew someone or something was out there. Someone needed help. The wind stung his face as he stepped out onto the icy plain, the storm trying to push him back at every step. As he neared the craft, a faint, uneven glow caught his attention. A figure emerged from the wreckage, staggering on legs that seemed delicate and fragile against the harsh environment. Eli's breath caught. The being was humanoid but unlike anything he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly, as if tiny lights pulsed beneath it, illuminating the icy air around her. She shivered violently, a quiet whimper escaping her lips. Her body, exposed and fragile against the cold, seemed almost unreal. Eli's mind raced, but the need to act was stronger than shock. He hurried to her side, wrapping her in the thermal blanket he had brought. The warmth of his hands through the thick material seemed to calm her slightly, and she leaned weakly against him, her glowing eyes meeting his. There was a quiet, desperate plea in them, and Eli understood without words. She needed warmth, safety, and someone she could trust. He guided her back toward the station, fighting the wind and his own fear. Every step felt like a battle against the storm, but Eli didn't stop. When they finally reached the module, he carried her inside and placed her gently on a medical cot. The heaters roared to life and slowly, color returned to her glowing skin. She exhaled shakily and her trembling hands reached out toward him, a silent gesture of trust. Eli studied her carefully. She was not just injured, she was exhausted, disoriented, and entirely foreign. He had seen alien life in simulations and reports, but nothing like her. Her features were delicate yet strong, and the soft glow from her skin hinted at biological functions entirely unknown to humans. Despite the strangeness, there was something about her that felt familiar, almost comforting, as if the universe had chosen this moment for their meeting. He wrapped another blanket around her and adjusted the heat settings in the room, making it as warm and safe as possible. She closed her eyes, finally letting herself rest, and Eli took a seat nearby, keeping a vigilant watch. Loneliness had been his companion for months, but tonight it was replaced with a quiet sense of responsibility. Someone depended on him and he would not fail. Hours passed. The storm raged on outside, but inside the module the alien's breathing grew steadier. She opened her eyes again, and Eli noticed a flicker of intelligence there. She was aware, alert, and cautious, watching him with a mixture of curiosity and caution. He wanted to communicate, but he didn't know her language. Still, he offered her a small gesture, a nod, a reassuring smile. She responded with a faint, glowing pulse from her skin, almost like a heartbeat of light. The next morning, Eli prepared a small device he had been working on, a rudimentary translator that could interpret sounds and convert them into basic words. He activated it and spoke slowly. "Can you understand me?" The device clicked and whirred, and a series of soft tones came from her. Eli frowned, adjusting the translator. Slowly, the tones became recognizable patterns. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. She repeated the tones, and he realized she was trying to communicate her name. "Lyra," he said carefully. She nodded, her glow intensifying briefly, a clear sign of recognition. Lyra's story unfolded in fragments. She came from a distant star system, far more advanced than humanity in technology, but vulnerable in the extreme cold of Xiron 7. She had been fleeing a faction within her own species that sought her for reasons she could not fully explain yet. Her ship had been sabotaged, leaving her stranded and exposed to the freezing elements. Eli listened, absorbing every detail, his mind already racing with ideas on how to help her survive. Over the next few days, Eli worked tirelessly. He modified the station's heating systems, created protective clothing that could interface with Lyra's bioluminescent biology, and ensured she had access to nourishment adapted for her unique metabolism. Lyra learned quickly, observing his actions, mimicking his gestures, and responding with her glowing pulses that conveyed meaning beyond simple words. A silent bond began to form between them, built on trust, respect, and a shared understanding that survival depended on cooperation. One night, as Eli adjusted a thermal regulator, Lyra reached out and touched his hand lightly. The glow from her skin spread warmth through his fingers, and he realized it wasn't just physical warmth. It was something deeper, an acknowledgement of trust and gratitude. He smiled softly, feeling a connection he had never anticipated. The peace was short-lived. Sensors detected movement outside the station, subtle but unmistakable. Eli's stomach tightened. He peered through the frosted window and saw figures moving against the snow, their forms alien and menacing. Lyra's glow flared nervously, and she whispered, or rather emitted tones that the translator rendered as, "They come for me." Eli's mind snapped into action. He barricaded entrances, activated defensive drones, and prepared a series of traps using the station's equipment. He realized that human creativity, improvisation, and courage might be their only advantage against technologically superior aliens. Lyra watched him, her eyes wide with awe and trust. He was not just her protector, he was humanity's ingenuity in action, and she recognized it instantly. The alien patrol approached, and Eli and Lyra waited silently. The wind howled outside, carrying the faint sounds of the intruders' movements. When they breached the outer perimeter, Eli's traps activated with precision, sending them scrambling. The aliens were strong and advanced, but Eli's human tactics, using terrain, heat, light, and unpredictability, kept them at bay. Lyra, though fragile in appearance, assisted by emitting pulses of light that temporarily disoriented the invaders. Together, human and alien worked in synchrony, a team bound not by words but by survival and trust. Hours later, the intruders retreated, unable to adapt to Eli's unconventional methods. Lyra exhaled, her glow softening in relief. She looked at Eli with an expression of awe and gratitude. For the first time, he understood that warmth, the literal warmth he had offered when she arrived, and the metaphorical warmth of human courage and ingenuity, was more powerful than any weapon or technology. That night, as the storm outside finally began to calm, Eli and Lyra sat near the window, watching the stars together. Lyra's glow pulsed gently, reflecting the faint lights of the galaxy. She reached out, resting her hand against his shoulder, a silent gesture of trust and friendship. Eli smiled, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known before. Humanity was small in the universe, fragile in many ways, but in moments like this, human courage, creativity, and heart could shine brighter than any star. And somewhere deep in the cold expanse of Xiron 7, a new bond had formed, between a human and an alien, between survival and trust, between loneliness and the warmth that only connection could bring. The story of Eli and Lyra had only just begun, and the galaxy would soon take notice. The wind outside had quieted, but the icy landscape remained harsh and unforgiving. Eli and Lyra huddled in the station, surrounded by the hum of heaters and the soft glow of Lyra's skin. The events of the previous night had left both of them alert and tense. The alien patrol had retreated, but Eli knew it was only a matter of time before they returned. He had to plan their next move carefully. Eli spent the morning reinforcing the station's defenses. He patched the broken hull sections, installed motion sensors, and recalibrated the thermal shields. Lyra watched him closely, occasionally pulsing her light in patterns he had learned to interpret. Her body, though delicate, was capable of subtle communications that no machine could fully capture. Eli felt a strange sense of partnership with her. Despite the differences in their species, they were learning to work together seamlessly. Lyra began attempting more complex communications. Using the rudimentary translator, she conveyed fragments of her people's language. Eli learned that her species, the Elari, had a remarkable ability to adapt to different environments, but extreme cold left them vulnerable. She explained that she carried knowledge critical to her people, technological and biological secrets that some factions wanted to exploit. Eli realized that protecting her wasn't just about survival. It was about safeguarding information that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. Days passed with careful planning. Eli showed Lyra human survival strategies, improvising weapons and traps from the station's equipment. Lyra responded by sharing insights into her abilities. Her bioluminescence could interfere with sensors, and her body could emit short bursts of energy capable of stunning small machinery. Together, they created a system where human ingenuity and alien biology complemented each other perfectly. Eli marveled at her adaptability, while Lyra began to trust him completely, seeing in him a kind of resilience and warmth that her species had rarely encountered. One evening, as the twin moons of Xiron 7 rose above the horizon, the station's sensors picked up movement again. This time, the alien patrol was larger and better organized. Eli and Lyra were prepared. He activated the traps and defensive drones, while Lyra positioned herself near the observation windows, her glow pulsing in rhythm with the station's energy fields. The patrol advanced cautiously, scanning the area for signs of life. Eli's traps went off in sequence, blinding lights, sudden bursts of heat, and sound decoys that confused the invaders. Lyra emitted a controlled pulse of energy, temporarily disabling some of their reconnaissance devices. The aliens hesitated, frustrated by the unpredictability of their opponents. Eli realized that while their technology was superior, it lacked imagination. Human creativity and adaptability were advantages no machine could replicate. As the alien patrol regrouped, Eli made a decision. They needed to escape the station and find a safer location. He had heard rumors from other research stations of a hidden network of ancient alien outposts beneath the ice. If he could reach one of these, Lyra would be safe, at least temporarily. He packed essential supplies, including the modified thermal suits, portable energy generators, and a compact weapon system he had improvised. Lyra watched him work, her glowing form reflecting determination. She understood the urgency, and though she could have tried to flee on her own, she stayed, trusting Eli completely. The escape was perilous. Eli led Lyra through the station's maintenance tunnels, the narrow passages filled with frost and ice. Outside, the storm had returned, reducing visibility to almost nothing. Every step was a challenge, but Eli's knowledge of the terrain and Lyra's unique abilities allowed them to move silently and efficiently. She used her bioluminescence to illuminate the path briefly, while he guided her through the treacherous ice formations. They reached a cavern that Eli had discovered during previous surveys. The entrance was hidden beneath a sheet of ice, but it led to a vast network of tunnels. He activated the portable energy generator, warming the air around them. Lyra's glow intensified as she felt the warmth and the protection it offered. For the first time since the crash, she relaxed, her trust in Eli growing even stronger. Deeper into the tunnels, they encountered signs of ancient technology, walls embedded with strange symbols, machinery that hummed faintly with residual energy. Eli examined it carefully, realizing that these outposts were remnants of a civilization far older than the Ilari, possibly designed as safe havens for travelers or exiles. He theorized that if they could activate the systems, they could shield Lyra from detection, giving them time to plan their next move. Lyra assisted, her energy pulses interacting with the alien machinery in ways Eli could not fully understand. Together, they managed to activate a protective field, a shimmering dome of energy that concealed the cavern from external sensors. Eli felt a surge of pride. Humans were often underestimated in the galaxy, but moments like this proved that ingenuity, courage, and determination could overcome even the most advanced technology. As they rested, Lyra communicated her gratitude more openly. Through a combination of gestures and glowing signals interpreted by the translator, she conveyed admiration for Eli's resourcefulness and bravery. He smiled, realizing that their partnership had grown into a genuine friendship. They shared stories of their respective worlds. Eli of Earth and humanity's struggle to explore the stars, Lyra of her people's rich culture and history. Each story strengthened their bond, bridging the gap between species. Their respite was short-lived. From deep within the tunnels came the faint sound of movement. Alien patrols had tracked them using residual energy signatures. Eli quickly formulated a plan. They would use the outpost's ancient technology against the pursuers, creating illusions and false signals to confuse and misdirect them. Lyra assisted by amplifying her bioluminescent signals, projecting light patterns that interfered with the aliens' sensors. The patrol entered the cavern cautiously, but the illusions were effective. They saw multiple copies of Eli and Lyra, hearing phantom movements and sounds that led them astray. Eli guided Lyra through hidden passages, keeping them one step ahead. The aliens, frustrated and confused, eventually retreated, unable to adapt to the unpredictable combination of human cunning and Lyra's unique abilities. Hours later, Eli and Lyra emerged from the tunnels into a sheltered ice valley. The night sky was clear, the stars shining brilliantly above. Eli set up a temporary camp, activating heaters and preparing food supplies. Lyra's glow was soft and steady now, a reflection of relief and trust. She reached out, touching his hand lightly, a silent gesture of thanks and connection. Eli smiled, feeling the warmth of that trust more profoundly than any heater could provide. In the quiet of the night, Eli realized something important. Humanity's greatest strength was not just technology or strength, but creativity, courage, and compassion. He had faced beings far more advanced than humans, yet their ingenuity had given them the upper hand. And in this fragile, glowing alien who depended on him, he saw the impact of human warmth, the ability to make a difference through care, quick thinking, and empathy. Lyra, for her part, had begun to understand human resilience. She had witnessed courage in action, problem-solving in real time, and a willingness to risk everything for the sake of another being. It was something her people rarely acknowledged in outsiders, but now she felt it firsthand. She realized that humans were more than mere survivalists. They were innovators, thinkers, and when needed, heroes. The night passed peacefully. Eli and Lyra took turns keeping watch, learning from each other. The bond between them deepened, built not on words alone but on mutual respect, shared experience, and the recognition that survival often depended on connection. They spoke little, but the silence was comfortable, filled with understanding. By dawn, Eli had mapped a route to a larger, more secure outpost he had discovered in earlier surveys. It would take careful navigation through the ice plains and hidden caverns, but it promised safety and resources to continue their mission. Lyra's glow pulsed with anticipation. She had begun to trust the humans entirely, seeing in Eli a representative of a species capable of incredible feats. As they prepared to move, Eli glanced at the horizon. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders, but humans had the ability to leave a mark through courage, creativity, and determination. And tonight, he had proven that even one human could protect an alien, challenge advanced enemies, and navigate a hostile world successfully. Lyra touched his shoulder once more, a simple gesture that spoke volumes. Eli understood that the bond they had formed would be crucial in the trials ahead. The alien patrols would not give up easily, but together, human ingenuity and alien adaptability created a force no one could predict. With supplies packed and protective systems active, Eli and Lyra stepped into the icy night, ready to face the challenges ahead. The adventure was far from over, but for the first time, both felt hope. The galaxy was unpredictable, vast, and dangerous, but they had each other. And in that partnership, humanity's greatest qualities shone brighter than any star. The journey toward the next outpost began. Every step was a testament to human resilience, every cautious maneuver a display of intelligence, every gesture of trust a sign of compassion. Eli felt the weight of responsibility, but also the pride of knowing that humanity could rise to challenges far beyond Earth. And beside him, Lyra glowed with newfound confidence, ready to face whatever the galaxy might throw at them, knowing she had found an ally in the human before her. The story was no longer just about survival. It was about connection, courage, and the undeniable power of human ingenuity in the face of impossible odds. The galaxy was watching, and Eli and Lyra were ready to show that humans were more than capable, more than resilient, and more than worthy of recognition among the stars. The ice plains of Xiron 7 stretched endlessly beneath the twin moons, reflecting faint glimmers of light. Across the snow, Eli and Lyra moved carefully, their path winding between frozen cliffs and hidden crevasses. The protective dome of the cavern had shielded them temporarily, but they both knew it would not last forever. The alien patrols were persistent, and the next outpost they needed to reach lay deep beneath the ice, hidden and uncharted. Eli adjusted the portable generators strapped to his back, ensuring the energy field surrounding Lyra remained stable. The cold bit through his suit, but he barely noticed. His focus was entirely on the task ahead. Lyra's glow pulsed steadily beside him, a living compass guiding him through the treacherous terrain. Despite the danger, there was a sense of purpose between them, an unspoken understanding that survival required more than strength or technology. It required cooperation, trust, and quick thinking. As they approached a narrow ice canyon, the first signs of pursuit appeared. Disturbances in the snow, faint heat signatures, and the hum of advanced sensors indicated the aliens had tracked them again. Eli paused, scanning the terrain. He realized that the canyon could work to their advantage. Its twists and turns could confuse the patrol if used wisely. He signaled to Lyra, who responded with a rapid series of glowing pulses, indicating she understood. Together, they devised a plan. Eli activated a small series of reflective panels he had carried, placing them along the canyon walls. The panels bounced Lyra's bioluminescent light in unpredictable patterns, creating illusions of movement. When the patrol entered the canyon, they were immediately disoriented, chasing shadows and light that did not exist. Lyra's pulses synchronized with the reflections, amplifying the effect. The human's ingenuity combined with her alien abilities created a defense the pursuers could not anticipate. The patrol regrouped, clearly frustrated. Eli's mind raced. He realized that they could not simply outrun the aliens. They needed to strike decisively, using the terrain and technology at hand. He directed Lyra to a higher ledge, where she could project her light downward, temporarily blinding sensors and causing further confusion. Then, using a series of ice spikes he had improvised, Eli created barriers that forced the aliens into narrow paths. Every move was calculated, every action precise. Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the distant sounds of frustrated alien movements. Finally, the last of the patrols retreated, unable to adapt to the unpredictable combination of human cleverness and Lyra's unique abilities. Eli allowed himself a brief sigh of relief, though he knew the journey was far from over. The next outpost awaited, hidden beneath layers of ice and rock, holding the promise of safety and resources they desperately needed. They reached the entrance of the outpost as dawn began to break. Eli examined the exterior carefully. Ancient symbols were etched into the ice, faintly glowing with residual energy. He hypothesized that these markings were part of a larger system of activation, designed to protect the facility from intruders. Lyra's pulses interacted with the symbols, lighting up pathways that had remained dormant for centuries. Together, they entered the structure, stepping into a world that seemed untouched by time. Inside, the outpost was vast, filled with chambers of alien technology that hummed faintly. Eli's eyes widened as he explored the controls and devices, realizing that this place could serve as a sanctuary. He began calibrating energy shields and reactivating life support systems, adapting the outpost to support both human and Elari needs. Lyra assisted, her pulses interacting with controls in ways Eli could not fully comprehend. Her knowledge of advanced alien technology complemented his ingenuity perfectly, reinforcing the HFY theme of humans thriving through resourcefulness and adaptability. As they settled into the outpost, a moment of calm allowed them to reflect. Lyra communicated her admiration for humans, particularly for their creativity and courage. She had seen firsthand how a single human, with nothing but quick thinking and determination, could overcome superior technology and relentless adversaries. Eli, in turn, marveled at her resilience and intelligence, realizing that humans could learn and grow from interactions with other species, forming partnerships that transcended words or cultures. The calm was shattered when an alert sounded. Another patrol had located traces of their escape. Eli moved quickly, analyzing the sensors. The new group was larger, faster, and better equipped than the previous ones. He knew they could not afford another confrontation in the open. He directed Lyra to a hidden chamber deeper within the outpost, where they could prepare defenses. The chamber contained an array of ancient devices that Eli could modify, turning them into traps and deterrents. The patrol arrived at the outpost entrance just as Eli activated the first defense mechanisms. Energy barriers flared, lights flashed in patterns designed to confuse sensors, and automated drones emerged from concealed ports, ready to respond. Lyra's glowing pulses amplified the effect, creating a disorienting and overwhelming array that the patrol could not easily navigate. Every movement was strategic, every action designed to exploit human ingenuity combined with alien technology. The battle was intense but brief. The patrol struggled against the defenses, unable to adapt to the unpredictable and multifaceted system Eli had designed. Using a combination of light, sound, and energy manipulation, they managed to drive the invaders back. When the dust settled, the outpost remained intact, the sanctuary secure. Eli and Lyra allowed themselves a moment of quiet relief, knowing that the worst of the danger had passed, at least for now. With the immediate threat gone, Eli focused on upgrading the outpost further. He reinforced structural integrity, optimized energy flow, and created comfortable living spaces. Lyra, in turn, shared her knowledge of advanced alien systems, helping Eli understand the deeper functions of the facility. They worked side by side, a team united by survival, trust, and mutual respect. Every achievement was a testament to human ingenuity and the ability to adapt, solve problems, and overcome seemingly impossible odds. Days turned into weeks as they prepared for the possibility of future threats. Eli and Lyra explored the outpost thoroughly, discovering archives of knowledge left by the ancient civilization that had built it. They learned about sustainable energy systems, advanced defensive technologies, and environmental controls that far surpassed anything humans had developed on Earth. Eli adapted what he could, blending human practicality with alien sophistication. Lyra watched in admiration, impressed by how quickly he understood and applied these new concepts. The bond between them grew stronger with each passing day. Lyra's initial dependence on Eli evolved into genuine partnership. She relied on his human intuition, creativity, and courage, while he drew on her advanced knowledge and unique abilities. Together, they were stronger than either could be alone. Eli realized that humans were capable of forming connections across species, building trust and cooperation in ways that could change the galaxy. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the icy plains, Eli and Lyra stood on a balcony overlooking the landscape. The stars sparkled above, distant and brilliant. Lyra pulsed softly, communicating a mixture of gratitude and admiration. Eli smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. Humanity had survived, adapted, and proven itself once again. They had turned a perilous situation into a triumph, not through brute force but through intelligence, creativity, and compassion. Lyra spoke in her soft, musical tones, the translator interpreting her words slowly. Humans, remarkable. Courage and heart, beyond measure. Eli nodded, understanding the meaning fully. It was not only about survival or technology, it was about the qualities that made humans unique. Their warmth, ingenuity, and ability to rise to challenges were recognized and respected, even by advanced alien species. The future remained uncertain. Alien factions were still out there, and the galaxy was full of dangers, but Eli felt confident. He and Lyra had forged a bond that could withstand adversity. Together, they had survived storms, ambushes, and unfamiliar technology. They had learned from each other and discovered strengths they had not known existed. The outpost became a symbol of hope, a place where humans could demonstrate ingenuity, resilience, and courage in a universe that often underestimated them. In the weeks that followed, Eli and Lyra continued their work, improving the outpost and preparing for possible contact with other alien species. They shared knowledge, explored ancient chambers, and strengthened defenses. Each day reinforced the idea that humanity's greatest strength lay not in weapons or numbers, but in adaptability, creativity, and the capacity to form meaningful connections. Lyra's people, once distant and enigmatic, began to recognize the significance of humans through Eli's actions. Word of his ingenuity, bravery, and compassion spread, carried by the networks of those who observed him. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were innovators, problem solvers, and allies. Eli's example demonstrated that even a single individual could have an outsized impact, bridging the gap between species and shaping the galaxy in profound ways. As Eli prepared to rest one night, Lyra approached him, her glow warm and steady. She reached out, touching his hand, a silent affirmation of trust and partnership. Eli felt a surge of pride and purpose. He had not only protected Lyra, but had proven the strength and value of humanity in a universe that often underestimated them. The story of Eli and Lyra was no longer just about survival. It was about connection, courage, and the undeniable power of human ingenuity and warmth. Together they had faced impossible odds, outsmarted advanced enemies, and transformed a fragile alien into a friend and ally. They had shown that humans could shine brightly, not with brute force, but with heart, mind, and determination. The galaxy awaited, vast and unpredictable, but Eli and Lyra were ready. They had survived storms, enemies, and isolation, forging a bond that would guide them through any challenge. Humanity had proven itself once again, not through dominance, but through ingenuity, courage, and the simple, undeniable warmth of connection. And beneath the icy moons of Xiron 7, a human and an alien stood together, ready to face the future, proving that when humanity rose to the challenge, even the stars themselves could not outshine them.